more than a quarter of their body weight. That's what came off in the Retatrutide trial at the highest dose. And it is the biggest number that anybody has produced in obesity medicine. So let me tell you why I still tell some patients to stay on the drug that they're already taking. For example, the most common one would be tirzepatide, because we don't really say that with semaglutide as much. Because that number has a second half that nobody puts in the headline. And there's a question about coming off this compound that I couldn't find an answer anywhere in the published data. I'm Dr. Jones, DC, and I coach thousands of patients through GLP-1 and metabolic health strategies. And this one's personal for me because, see, I was over 300 pounds at age 16. I lost 100 pounds, and then I spent years putting it back on and losing it again and putting it back on and losing it again. And what finally ended that awful stage in my life actually wasn't the GLP-1s. They didn't exist back then. It was fasting and strategic long-form fasting, learning how to actually fix my metabolism and my insulin resistance. Now I work alongside our medical team, helping people get there a lot faster than I did. But before anything else, let's deal with the assumption that almost everybody brings to this drug, or any conversation about the drug. If you spend any time in the Retatrutide conversations online, you'll see some version of this line, right? Why would I stay on tirzepatide when Retatrutide exists? Like, let's go to the triple G, baby. Same idea, more power, just the newer, stronger one. That's not what this is, okay? You see, this drug has been all over the internet for months now. And so a lot of you have already had the receptor thing explained to you. So I want to move really quickly through that part, but stay with me through it because the third receptor is the one that everybody skips past, and it's the one that decides whether this drug is right for you or not. So quick version, semaglutide, that's Ozempic and Wegovy. It works on one receptor. Then you have tirzepatide, known as Mounjaro Zepbound. It works on two, the GLP-1, the GIP. And the Retatrutide works on three. And a receptor is just a docking station on your cells. The drug pulls in, the cell gets the message, the cell changes what it's doing. Now, two of Retatrutide's three receptors are the ones you already know, the GLP-1, the GIP. Now, between them, they tell your brain you're full, and they help your body handle blood sugar. Now, that's the part that you've heard. Now, here's the part that matters. The third receptor, that's glucagon. And when I explain this to patients, this is where they stop me, because glucagon's actual job in your body is to raise blood sugar, so it sounds a little confusing. So think about that for a second. There's a weight loss drug that deliberately switches on the hormone that at times actually raises your blood sugar. So why does that work? You see, glucagon is your body's release signal. And when you haven't eaten, glucagon is what tells your liver to open the vault and put stored energy into circulation. That's the whole point of it. It doesn't raise blood sugar out of nowhere. It raises it by pulling it from what you're already carrying. So on its own, a glucagon drug, if you didn't realize that part, you would think it'd be a mess paired with two receptors that are already handling appetite and blood sugar. It becomes something that the other medications simply cannot do. Now, the first two work on what you eat, but the third one works on what's already on you. That's what I mean when I talk about the glucagon effect. It's not the same signal turned up louder. It's a different lever entirely. Now, if you're watching this trying to work out whether this drug is the drug that you should be on, that's exactly what the free discovery call is for. It's where you find out what working with our team looks like. You'd get a chance to talk with one of our patient educators about your situation. You can text the number on the screen, or you can use that link in the description. But first, the benefits. Start with what the highest dose did in that phase 3 trial, right? That's Triumph 1. Over 80 weeks, people lost more than a quarter of their body weight. Now, depending on which analysis you're reading, somewhere between 25 to 28%. Now, put a real person in that, someone starting at, say, 280 pounds, looking at 70, 75 pounds of weight loss. That's bariatric surgery territory from an injection. Nothing in obesity medicine has produced that before. Not semaglutide, not tirzepatide. Now, the number is real, and I'm not going to soften it up for you, but the scale is the least interesting thing that happened in those trials. You see, they ran a sub-study on patients with fatty liver disease, 98 people, and in that group, liver fat dropped by more than 80%. Did you hear that? That doesn't make the headlines, and it should, because fatty liver is one of the most common conditions in this country, and most people who have it, they have no idea. It doesn't hurt, it doesn't announce itself, it just sits there underneath everything else, quietly making everything more difficult because it drives insulin resistance. And then there's inflammation. This part isn't from the Retatrutide trials, this is from the whole class of GLP-1s. And it's something that I've been watching in our clinic for years. Patients come to us for weight, and somewhere around month 2, they'll mention their hands stopped hurting or their knees. And when someone stops the medication and the swelling comes back, that tells you what was doing the work. That's not why these get prescribed, but it happens, and it's a big part of why people tell me they feel different long before they look different. And if that's news to you, that this drug is doing measurable work on your liver and your inflammation while you're busy watching the scale, that's the kind of thing that I go through in this channel every single week. So hit that subscribe button right now so that it shows up in your feed, and be sure to turn on that bell because I don't want you to miss any of the awesome information that I have coming soon about Retatrutide updates. Now I have to break with how almost everyone talks about this drug, okay? So nearly every person who comes to us asking about Retatrutide has the same plan already built in their head, right? Hit a goal weight, I'm just gonna stop, right? I'm just gonna use a little Reta, just a little Reta, just that's it, right? Just a little Reta. The number is the finish line, and the medication is the thing that carries you to it. Now, I understand that plan completely. I ran that same play myself for years. I got in shape for summer, and then I would coast on it. Never once did I hold my weight. Now, that wasn't on the GLP-1s like I mentioned, but it was through aggressive measures that were not sustainable. Look, the number isn't the benefit. I've watched people hit an incredible number and have all of it back within a year or so. And I've watched other people lose noticeably less and keep every pound of that weight loss. The benefit that actually matters, the one that never makes it into the thumbnails, is that this class of medication, used correctly, can be part of a long-term maintenance plan, not a sprint that you finish. The weight staying gone is the result, and that result is available now in a way that it simply wasn't before these medications existed. And I already know what some of you are thinking right now because you say it in my comments every single week. There's no medication for discipline. You're right, there isn't. I never once claimed there was. But that's the exact point here. You see, the drug doesn't do the work for you. It buys you a window where the work is finally possible. And what you build inside that window is what decides whether any of this holds. I'll show you what that looks like by the end of this video. Before that though, the strongest drug in the class does not automatically give you the best results. So you go into any Retatrutide thread and you'll find the same sentence over and over. This completely shut the food noise off. And they mean it. For them, it really did. But what almost nobody says out loud is that Retatrutide was never built to be the ultimate appetite drug. The glucagon receptor is doing the metabolic work, mobilizing stored body fat, moving your metabolic rate. This is its job. And the craving control that rides along with it often doesn't feel as loud as what people had on tirzepatide. So they climb chasing that feeling of appetite suppression. Now put that next to the other thing that this drug is known for. The stomach side of Retatrutide can be rough. And it's roughest on the way up. Plenty of people can't climb fast. Some people can't climb much at all. So you get a very specific person. And I talk to this person constantly. They switched because Retatrutide is the strongest one. Their gut stalled them at a lower dose. They're 3 months in, still thinking about food all day and losing less than they were on the medication that they left, or even worse, stalled or gaining weight because they can't stop eating. That's not the drug failing them. That's somebody grading a metabolic drug on an appetite scoreboard. And when that's the person I'm talking to, I'll say it plainly. You might have left the right drug. Retatrutide isn't a stronger tirzepatide. If appetite was your whole problem, you were already on one built for it. And this is where I need you to understand what we're solving for. So we call it the sweet spot, the dose where hunger is controlled, not erased, not zero appetite, controlled. And it isn't something that you earn 6 months in. You find it quickly, and it's the precondition for everything downstream. Most of the patients that I coach get their dose lowered after the first couple of weeks they join our program, not raised. And this is the one place that my dosing philosophy gets misread. You'll hear some people say that you have to be up to 4 milligrams before this drug does anything real. And that is not what we see. Lowest effective dose means the smallest dose that genuinely works for you. And in our clinic, that number is consistently lower than what the internet told people to expect. Now, let me know in the comments where you're at with this one. Are you still deciding? Already started, or have you come off something else in order to try it? And let me know what made you start looking at Retatrutide in the first place, because I read these comments and the most common situations end up becoming future videos. Okay, so now the risks. And I want to be clear about what I'm doing here because I have a whole separate video on managing side effects. This isn't that. This is the decision altitude version. So what could actually rule you out and what you need to be watching? So let's start with the stomach because it isn't a footnote here. The gut side of this drug is the single biggest reason people quit it. And the part that matters isn't the discomfort. It's that your gut decides your dose for you. So here's the number that should shape how you think about all of it. At the highest dose in the trials, roughly 11% of people stopped because of the side effects. That's the same dose that produced the headline result. Same dose, both directions. Now, the dose that delivers the biggest number is the dose that most people can't stay on. Call that the Reta trade-off. More power and more that can go wrong without somebody watching it. So let me put a question to you here. If a friend told you tonight that they were going straight for the highest dose on this drug, what would you say to them right now? Okay, so next, heart rate. Now it's real. Patients feel it, and I'm not going to wave off something that you can measure on your own wrist. The one thing you need to know is that it scales with dose, and it isn't unique to this drug. The whole class does it. The higher you go, the bigger it gets, which makes this the one on the list that you don't have to guess about. You already have the instrument, which watch the trend rather than any single reading and take it to whoever is managing your care. Then there's the motivation piece. Some people on GLP-1s describe going flat. Nothing pulls at them anymore. Not work, not hobbies, not much of anything. I call that the dopamine void. And I'm careful about how I say it because what we're seeing isn't damage. It's the same mechanism that quiets your food noise turned up too far. So first thing we do is bring their dose down. Then muscle. When weight moves this fast, some of what you lose is muscle mass unless you actually defend it, right? Actively. Remember, we're a telemedicine practice. I'm not pulling calipers on you and running DEXA scans, right? And that's exactly why we lean on your waist measurement read against your weight trend and on whether you're actually getting stronger. If you can get scanned locally, go do it. But you don't need one for what we're watching. And then protein at 1 gram per pound of your target body weight. And then resistance training. Solid program. On this drug, that isn't optional. Okay, so the question. What happens when you stop? See, I went looking for that answer the way that I want someone to look for it for me. Manufacturer materials, trial protocols, the published literature. I wanted a taper down scenario, a schedule, a step down, something with a name on it, but there isn't one yet. There is no published exit protocol yet for Retatrutide. Makes sense, it's pretty new. Now the comments will tell you differently. Somebody will say you lower your dose slowly over a month and you're fine. Now I have read that sentence 100 times probably at this point. And I want you to know where it came from. Somebody made it up. I'm not saying that's bad. It might even be roughly reasonable. It's just not from anywhere official. And here's the part that landed hardest on me. There's a solid analysis published this year on what happens to people who come off GLP-1 medications. Around 60% of the weight comes back inside of a year. And then it climbs to about 75% before it levels off. Now, Retatrutide isn't in this scenario. And the reason is simple. There's nothing to include yet. Nobody has published what happens when people stop this drug yet. You're being asked to start something with no map for how it ends. So we stop treating the ending as something you go find, and you start treating it as something you build while you're still climbing. And there's a mechanism underneath it. Every week that you're on this, the medication is controlling your appetite. You know that, right? But underneath that, if you're doing the actual work, the fasting, the protein, the training, your insulin resistance is getting better. And what we watch happen is hunger itself gets better. It doesn't completely go away, it just gets better. And that's not the drug anymore, that's your metabolism healing. And that's the part that stays when the dose comes down. That's your window of opportunity, and it doesn't stay open forever. Now, I did it without a medication at all, and it took me the better part of a decade to get there. You don't have to do it that way. So where do you land? We call it your maintenance floor, and it's a range, not a number. For some people, it's a true microdose. For others, it's a starter dose stretched out. And for a few, nothing at all. Now, every one of those is this working correctly. And that's what I mean by metabolic and medication independence. And I want to be exact here because people hear that and think I mean getting off the medication in all cases, but I don't. I mean independence from the dose that you needed at the start because your life is now carrying what the drug used to carry. Now, most of the people that I coach, they land somewhere on that floor and they stay there. That's the win. That was always the win. But if you want the full version, how we decide when somebody's ready to start coming down, what we're watching on the way, and how we find where their weight actually holds, let me know in the comments. And before I tell you what to do with any of this, be honest with yourself for a second. Right now, today, do you have a landing plan? Or do you have a stopping plan? Okay, so let's put this together. Whether you're deciding if this is even your drug or if you're already on it and stuck at a dose that your gut won't let you get past, or you have no plan at all for how this ends, that's what the free discovery call is for. You can text the number on your screen or use that link in the description. You'll talk with one of our patient educators. They'll get your history and what you've tried and where you want to end up. And then they're going to give you a clear picture of what working with me, our coaches, and our medical team is actually like. They're going to go through programs and pricing so that you can see what the long game looks like and know what you're choosing between here. On your own, you're guessing at your dose, at your source, at your ending. With us, prescribing and dosing is done by licensed prescribers working from real blood work and a detailed history. Our coaches aren't permitted to touch any of that, and that's on purpose. Nobody's published a landing for this drug, so let's build one together. And if that part that stuck with you was that the strongest drug can still be the wrong one for you, I made a whole video working through exactly how to tell which one you want, whether your real problem is the food noise or the metabolism underneath. There it is right there, guys. Check it out. We'll see you later.